Here we are. It's a Friday. Thank you for tuning in to the Gardener's Corner program. A Friday feature here on TV Channel 10, located on Charter Channel 191 and WKRX 96.7 FM. My name is Rob Hall. Thanks for tuning in to the Gardener's Corner program today. Brought to you by T.G. Brooks Company and Sandline Golf Cars. We are live in the studio today, and when I say we, I'm talking about myself and the all-seeing, the all-knowing, the big kahuna himself, the man that gets up in the morning, looks in the mirror, and says, "Bring it on, I'm ready."
Oh, no.
Oh, no, what have I got myself into? If you would, please give him a big Bronx cheer. All the way from the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service. He is the Johnny Appleseed of asparagus. Please make welcome Mr. Carl Cantalupe.
You know, Rob, you can get into the siren business.
You know, I kind of thought that same thing,
Yeah.
too. Maybe go to work with the fire department, ambulance service, or, just be on standby.
That's right.
We are live in the studio today taking your telephone calls on the Gardener's Corner program. Again, brought to you by T.G. Brooks Company and Sandline Golf Cars. And going to be talking about several different things today on the program. Be talking about soil testing. Also be talking about some of the things that maybe if you want to go ahead and think about planting, and we'll talk about pruning. And so we're just going to try to keep you entertained over the next near about 1 hour. And so again, if you have any kind of questions or anything pertaining to your landscape, or maybe some of the plants or greenery in your lawn, or maybe if you've got a question about some of your house plants, Mr. Carl Cantalupe will do his very best to give you accurate information and help you find a solution to whatever problem it may be that you're having. Anyway, Carl, we had talked about it quite a bit about the importance of doing soil sampling testing.
That's right.
And it's one of those things to where if you do not have a soil analysis test done, you are kind of backstepping, so to speak.
Absolutely, because the soil, I just happened to be looking at it. I didn't plan on this, but I have a nice picture to show up here on the screen. Why should you test your soil? Well, if you look at the graphic on the TV or the computer, you'll see that this is the soil pH scale, and this particular chart shows the pH going from about 4.0 to 12.0, and in the middle of this chart shows a soil pH of 7.0. And these colored bars that you see in the chart, the green one is nitrogen, the yellow one is potassium, the third is phosphorus, and then we have sulfur, magnesium, iron, manganese. And so if you draw a line straight up and down from the center of this chart where the pH is at 7.0, you'll find that most of the nutrient elements are available to plants at a pH of 7.0. Then if you start going less than 7 or greater than 7, you see a lot of these soil mineral elements start to fade away. So this is why it's so important to test your soil. There's a 2 to 3 week turnaround time now with the USDA, the NCDA, and so remember there's a I'm trying to remember. Is it a $4? $4 charge, yeah. Right now. So get it in.
And that's per sample, $4 charge.
And so this is why it's important to get it done so that you don't guess. And and you make the most use of your fertilizer dollars then, if your soil pH is where it should be. If it's not where it should be, you can add all the fertilizer you want. It's not going to make a darn bit of difference because the fertilizer is going to remain tied up in the soil, unavailable to the plant roots. So the standard question that I get all the time from a lot of people is, what is the best fertilizers to use on such and such plant? There is no such thing as the best fertilizer. The best fertilizer is following the soil test recommendations, so you know exactly how much fertilizer you need to add based on your soil pH. If you need limestone to raise that soil pH, to bring up the pH so that the nutrients are available to the plant, that's what you need to do.
Well, Carl, if the listeners would want to kind of conduct, per se, a self-experiment, if you've got a couple of different places where you would, more or less have a couple of different gardening spots or areas, maybe what you could do in one of the spots is just kind of go ahead and do the fertilizing the way that you kind of think that it needs to be done off of the top of your head. Then off of the second plot, have a soil analysis test done, and then go by their recommended, fertilizing, standards and what they are suggesting. And then just kind of do a self-comparison between the two different plots.
That's right.
And it will make a believer out of you if you do it that way. Or if you do the recommended amounts of fertilizing after your soil sampling, and also if you need any lime or anything, it'll make a believer out of you. And it's not just a bunch of hype or anything. It is more or less facts, and
it's science.
It's science. That's exactly right. It's been proven to work. So, I really don't think that if it did not work, that the North Carolina Department of Agriculture would, do all of these sample testings. But it's designed to help each individual utilize, their money. And it's a way of giving you knowledge when they can tell you the amount of fertilizer or lime that you need to apply to the soil to better your turnout.
That's right. That's right.
But anyway, but as Carl mentioned, it is a charge of $4 per sample up until March 31st.
That's right.
After March 31st, it will be free of charge, and it will remain free of charge until Thanksgiving. But the reason that they enacted the $4 charge between Thanksgiving and the end of March was to try to cut back on the workload. But I think that a lot of people really took advantage, because I turned in my soil samples just before Thanksgiving. I think I gave them to you, Carl, maybe on the Friday before Thanksgiving. And I just received my results last week. So it was about a 7-week turnaround. And typically that time of the year, it's only just a few weeks. So a lot of people took advantage to save that money. So
they sure did.
But even if you have to pay that $4 per sample fee, it's well money spent, wouldn't you say, Carl?
Oh, definitely.
We are live in the studio today.
We have not assumed room temperature
We're
yet.
We're close. 336-599-0266. If you got a question for Carl, he'd be glad to answer it. The last few weeks, we've been talking about starting vegetable plants from seeds, indoors. And this is something that you could kind of do to have really nice transplants when, we're kind of out of the window of frost. You could have healthy transplants to plant in the garden and get, per se, a jump on the growing season.
Right. Before I forget, we were talking about a Bronx cheer before. I'd like to give a big Bronx cheer to a friend of mine, Jesse, who is trying to listen on the radio in Durham and trying to see if he can pull in the signal. So, Jesse, I hope you're listening. I hope you receive us loud and clear this morning.
And I understand that Jesse is in one of the bands that you
Yeah,
play
he
the
plays
clarinet
with me in the Durham community concert band.
Yeah. Well, anyway, but Jesse, appreciate you tuning in, and I'm not sure what part of Durham that he is.
North Durham. So, well, around the Coal Mill Road area. So I think
He ought to be able to hear us talking about him right now. If he's tuned in now, he's probably got a big smile on his face.
That's right. Well, we hope so.
Anyway, we are live in the studio, 336-599-0266, and we have a caller, I think. Good morning. Thank you for calling the Gardener's Corner program.
Yeah, I got a question for you. I don't know if it's, I guess it's what you handling too. I used to see my father, which he passed away now, had put ammonium nitrate down on his yard and for the grass and stuff. You know, he fertilized it in the fall and then put ammonium nitrate down. And
Yeah.
like he always used to tell me, put it down early part of February if you wanted to have a green, pretty yard and cut it early. But I found that you can't get the same ammonium nitrate that he was getting. Have they quit making it, or is the new stuff just as good?
Well, I think so. Yeah, ammonium nitrate is either 3300 or 3400.
It's 34.
Yeah, and I think they've stopped making it. I don't know if it has anything to do with the explosive nature of it, and you using it to make explosives. I don't know if that's the reason, but yeah, it is not as available as it was before. But one substitute, you could use 2100. That's ammonium sulfate, and that's used a lot of times in blueberries to add sulfur and to keep the pH down. But remember that most fertilizers that we add to plant are acid forming, so that means you have to test your soil to determine what your soil pH is, because over time the soil pH will go down. Now, as far as the time of year to apply nitrogen, especially to the lawn, it's best done in the fall. You do not want to do it in February, March, because what that's going to do is have the nitrogen go to the grass blades and not into the roots. So if you over fertilize your lawn in the spring with nitrogen, you set the plant up to get brown patch fungus disease. So avoid spring fertilization, concentrate your efforts on fertilizing your lawn in the fall, and then always go by the results of a soil test.
Right, all he did, he fertilized it in the fall, which is what I've done on my yard.
Right.
But he would always come back in February and put like a light dose of the 34% down.
Yeah, well, you can, but again, being that we have so many problems with brown patch fungus disease in fescue lawns, it's kind of risky to do that
Right.
because then you're going to have to be faced with reseeding your lawn in the fall.
But if you did want to get some of that 2100 and put down a little bit of that, I wouldn't go overbearingly with it.
Right.
It may help you achieve the goal that you're wanting, and
that's right.
But as Carl said, it wouldn't be a bad idea for you to do a soil analysis test on your lawn. Sometime certainly before next fall, so you'll have some idea of what you can, do to make a beautiful lawn in 2016, so to speak.
Right.
That stuff made it so dark. It was almost like a black green. It was real dark.
It'll definitely do that, but hold on to your hat. It'll go from that color and to a nice crisp brown in the summer once the temperatures start soaring upward.
So,
Okay, thank you, bud.
Hey,
All right.
appreciate you. Carl, thank you. All right, have a good day. Carl, that is, one thing about it. And, as you just said, when you put your fertilizer and nitrogen down in the spring of the year, it goes to the blade of the grass.
That's right.
And, in hay crops, that's pretty much what you want to do.
Oh,
But,
okay.
now for your lawn, you want to have your lawn to look pretty much consistent, from start of spring, to the end of summer.
Yeah.
And I think by, as you said, recommending, fertilizing in the fall to allow, all of the nutrients and everything to get down into the root system to maybe help it, do good throughout the following spring and summer.
That's right. Yeah, when you over fertilize in the spring, what you do is you produce a top heavy plant. You have a lush green or almost a black green, as the man was saying. And what you're doing is you're producing a soft, succulent plant. And unfortunately, that soft, succulent plant then is more susceptible to fungus diseases. It's really not a toughened plant. So if you don't fertilize in the spring, you might not have the greenest looking lawn in town, but it's not going to succumb to brown patch as easily as it would as if you fertilize in the spring. And I don't know. I think a lot of I guess I don't know what to think sometimes. Do people that provide fertilizer, put lawn care services and businesses, do they not know this? Not knowing, and they continue to fertilize heavily. Do they know it or not? If they know it, then it seems to me that they know that they're going to have business in the fall reseeding that person's lawn. So I don't know if I don't know what the percentage is of lawn care people that know this or not, but I've already seen the trucks out fertilizing lawns by a company the other day, just taking a walk in Oxford. So, oh well.
Well, Carl, a lot of commercials and things will be on advertising fertilizers and things like that.
Especially the national brands of national companies.
Yeah, and I think one thing that when springtime rolls around, people are chomping at the bit, so to speak, ready for spring.
Yeah.
Want to get out and do some sprucing up and cleaning up and
That's right.
getting things looking better. And I think it's more so on people's mind at that time of the year in the spring than it is fall time of the year, because at the fall time of the year, you're thinking about all the work you've done in the lawn, mowing and weed eating and, battling weeds and things. And so by the time fall time of the year comes around, a lot of people are kind of fizzled out
That's right.
on the
Yeah.
lawn, so
Yeah.
to speak. So, but that was a good question that the caller had, and we appreciate them calling. And if you've got a question, we'd love to hear from you. 336-599-0266. The last couple of weeks, we've talked about starting vegetable seed indoors, and we're going to talk a little bit about that right now. But Carl, you're saying there's a few things that can be planted in the very near future, correct?
Right. As soon as the soil dries out a little bit, you can go in and start planting peas, English peas, whether they be the regular peas or the snow peas, Chinese peas that have the flat pods, and the peas that are immature, or the sugar snap peas, in which you eat the peas and the pod all in one. Peas and spinach only require a 40-degree soil temperature, so they'll germinate. Actually, spinach germinates best in a cool soil temperatures, so you can seed those. Then on into February, you can go ahead and buy your onion plants or onion sets. Onion sets are the bulbs, the small bulbs that are formed from growing onions from seed. And it's very important to start as early as you can with onions in the spring, because the onions form a bulb, and bulbing is dependent on day length. And in the South, what we do is we grow what we call the short day onion varieties. These onions will go ahead and start forming a bulb when we get a 12-hour day length. And the onion will only form a bulb at that time if the plant has been in the ground growing for a long enough time and has produced good root growth and good shoot growth. If you plant onions too late and then the day length gets to be about 12 hours or so, the plant wants to form a bulb, but it can't do it. So
That's why it's important to get them in the ground early.
that's right. So onions, spinach, and peas from seed. You can do it just about any time, and then if we get ice or snow, that's really not going to bother those vegetables. They'll tolerate the freezing temperatures with no problem.
Okay. Hey, I think we've got a caller. Good morning. Thank you for calling the Gardener's Corner program.
Yes, I got a question for Carl about ryegrass.
Yes.
Just wonder, how long does it take ryegrass seed to germinate?
Oh gosh, I would say
can't hear.
About 7 days or
About
so.
7 days about 7 days for the ryegrass seed to germinate.
All right, well, I told somebody about over 2 weeks ago. I hadn't seen anything in it.
Well, you got that's 7 days under warm soil temperatures.
I can't hear him.
He's saying the 7 days would be under warm soil temperatures, and so because
Well, is this be the correct time of year, or is this too late to throw out some ryegrass? I'm just trying to cover some muddy spots.
No, I would not do it at this time. I don't know if you can. Can you hear me now?
I've already done it about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
okay, but can you hear Carl when he speaks?
Can you hear me on the radio right now?
No, my radio's off. I just got you're just not coming through.
Okay, all right. Do you hear me talking to you?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Use my mic, Carl. Try that.
All right. No, you're just going to have to wait until the soil temperatures warm up until the grass seed will germinate. Hopefully, the seed won't rot by the time that occurs. So the best time to seed is in the fall, and if you do have to seed in the spring,
Okay.
You're breaking up, so I guess I waited too late.
Well, I tell you what,
Hang
if you
on.
will, hang up and turn your radio on. We'll give you just a minute to do that, and Carl will address the questions that you just asked.
Well, I'll turn it up right now. I'll just hang up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you now. Bye-bye. All right, Carl.
all right, the best time to seed cool season grasses is in the fall, around early September. And if you do want to seed it in the spring, you don't want to really do that until the soil temperatures have warmed up sufficiently. And we're probably looking at, March, mid-March or so, and into April. The problem with sowing cool season grasses in the spring is that you have a very narrow window to get that grass established. Once the soil temperature does get warm enough for you to sow the seed, then the air temperature increases and it's going to get warm. So there's nothing worse for a grass plant is to have enough soil temperature to germinate, and then you have the hot air temperatures on that young plant. So what happens? It puts that plant under stress, and that plant doesn't do well, and it probably will die. So only look at sowing cool season grass in the spring, if you absolutely have to, and you don't have another time to do it. So the best time is in the fall.
Well, Carl, you had mentioned a while ago about the pea, spinach, about a 40-degree ground temperature.
That's right.
Would be fine. And then just talking about the ryegrass seed would need warmer soil temperatures.
Yeah.
Is it a good idea, or would it be a crazy investment to buy a thermometer to check the soil temperatures?
Absolutely. You can buy soil thermometers at garden centers, and all you have to do is go down and take the temperature at a 4-inch depth. And this way you can monitor soil temperatures, and this is a great help, especially if you're using it as an aid to determine when to put down pre-emergence crabgrass killer in the spring in the lawn. Usually, once the soil temperature gets up to 55 degrees and stays there for about 3 days, that's when your crabgrass and other grassy weed seeds will germinate. So you can wait until that time, and then you can get the biggest bang for your fertilizer buck by adding the pre-emergence herbicides right at the time when the germinating weed seedlings are occurring. So you don't have to do it ahead of time and then maybe miss out or leach some of that herbicide down below where the crabgrass seeds are germinating.
Right. Okay. Well, that would be a neat thing to do, to get a soil thermometer.
Yeah.
And that you could kind of monitor it and things like that. And you know, here at the radio station, sometimes our temperature runs pretty close to what it does at the Person County Airport. Sometimes it's as much as 2 or 3 degrees difference. And different parts of the county, you know, can warm up a little warmer than others, and some will, you know, stay a little bit cooler than others. But
that's right.
But that'd be a good idea to get a soil thermometer, and that way you can kind of keep up. Hey, let's get a word on for T.G. Brooks Company. They've been in business since 1936. You know, it's almost one-stop shopping down there. Everything from plumbing supplies to snacks to hand-cut ribeyes. So much more to offer to you from T.G. Brooks Company.
Hey, your friends at T.G. Brooks Company in Timberlake wish you a successful 2015. We probably are going to get a taste of real winter in cold winter days and nights this month of January, which suggests a trip out to T.G. Brooks Company, 413 Helena Maria Road in Timberlake. Cold weather needs are found there, like your furnace filters, stovepipe and stove mats, wood stoves, pipe insulation, plastic to put around your windows. You will find water heater elements, thermostats, pressure relief valves, ice melt, bird seed in 10, 25, and 50-pound bags, and sunflower and black oil seed too. They also carry Pride and Tracker high-protein dog food. You're going to find your shovels in case we have ice or snow. They have wedges, axes, and mauls for getting stove wood ready. They have gloves lined and unlined in leather and cloth. They're your first choice for well pumps and piping when water problems occur, with a selection of submersible and top-of-the-ground jet pumps, pipe, pump wire, and pipe fittings. They also carry cast iron cookware, and they fill propane gas bottles. Plenty of those dog foods await you, like we mentioned, the Pride and Tracker high-protein dog food. Also, they have 100% kiln-dried cedar shavings. You might need a thermometer for outdoors. Plan to spend a little time at T.G. Brooks Company talking about warmer days coming up in a couple of months and getting information on your future lawn and garden plans. In a couple of months, we'll be talking about putting out pre-emergent weed control. So come to the place people like to shop from all over the region. A local, friendly family business that has been faithful to the homeowner, farmer, and construction worker since 1936. Phone anytime you need advice at 364-2428. After all is said and done, get you a generous portion of hand-cut ribeye steaks. Prepare them the way you like them, pop them on your grill, and enjoy a delicious treat. Everything works out when you have a T.G. Brooks Day. No week is complete without a visit to T.G. Brooks Company in Timberlake.
Here we are back on the Gardens Corner program, brought to you by T.G. Brooks Company and Sandling Golf Cars. If you have the opportunity to stop in and see them at T.G. Brooks Company, you'll be glad you did, and we'll get a word on in just a few minutes for Sandling Golf Cars. We're live in the studio today for the Gardens Corner program. My name is Rob Hall. Mr. Carl Cantalupi of the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service is here to share his knowledge. Carl, coming up on the first Friday in March, you are having your specialty crop school?
That's correct,
Okay.
It'll be here at the Person County Extension Office Friday, March the 6th. Go from 9 until 3. And we have 3 interesting speakers that will talk about their own operations. 2 ladies that grow asparagus in Burlington that are excellent growers and marketers. They'll talk about that. We also will have a Granville County couple that's been growing vegetables, I'd say, for about 10 years. And they sell by direct marketing. They'll talk about what they do. And an individual from Buffalo Junction, Virginia, will come down to talk about his operation. And as far as marketing, he participates in a CSA, otherwise known as Community Supported Agriculture. So it'll be a day filled with good information for you, give you ample chance to answer questions. The cost of the school is $25 per person, which includes lunch, and then $15 per person for each additional person, which also includes the lunch. And for more information or to get a copy of the pre-registration form, give us a call at the Extension office at 336-599-1195, and we'll get you more information.
And that'll be on the first Friday in March. And so be sure to check out the Specialty Crops School with Mr. Carl Cantalupi, and he's got several different guests to come in and make presentations. And sounds like a nice day of more or less, in a sense, for some maybe continuing education, and then maybe answering the questions that a lot of people may have that may be interested in doing something, to where they may just say, well, it would be nice if I could plant a big enough garden to where I could sell enough produce to where we could get our produce free of charge.
Yeah.
It could be someone that wants to do that, and it may be someone that wants to, specialize in, a few different vegetables. So.
And I have always found out that people are very willing to listen to other people that are doing this for a living. They know that they're serious about it.
Right.
So there's a lot of free flow exchange of ideas at these meetings. So it's definitely worth it, I think, because you can get the benefit of other people's knowledge, and as as a lot of people say, if you're thinking about doing something, and if somebody else has done it already, and especially if we kind of do things and we make a mistake, we kind of tend to remember those mistakes. And if a person tells you, well, you can do this, but watch out for this, you can learn from other people's mistakes,
right.
so you don't have to experience the same ones yourself.
That's right. Carl, we're going to talk a little bit about pruning trees, but you had made mention something about maybe we'd be having some pruning demonstrations coming up. Have you got anything worked out on that as of yet?
Not yet, but
Hopefully within the next
actually,
few
I do.
weeks or
I
so.
do have a location, as a matter of fact, but I don't have the date worked out yet. But that'll be. I should take care of that today, and we'll report back to about that next week.
Okay, we've got a caller. Good morning. Thank you for calling the Gardener's Corner program.
Good morning. I have a question concerning geraniums.
Okay.
I would like to know when I can go ahead and start them from seed, if I can, and when would it be a good time to go ahead and let them go outside to their different flower pots. I haven't been able to find any seed in our vicinity. Do I need to order that through a seed catalog? And I'm going to hang up so I can hear you over the computer.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Bye now.
You can order seed. The seed is very tiny. It's almost like dust. And I'm trying to see if I can get to my publication here that that shows that, so I can give you the days to how long it takes to start geraniums from seed. Let's see.
Well, I know, Carl, you had said the past few weeks that the thing about, planting flowers, that the flower seeds are so very, very small, and but it is possible of doing so. And I think you had said that when you start flower plants from seed, you can start those a little bit earlier than vegetable garden plants, correct?
That's right. That's right.
Okay. He's looking for, some information that he can pass along some dates to. But yes, ma'am, it sounds like you may have to order your geranium seed if you hadn't had any luck finding any around here.
Yeah, okay. Unfortunately, on my sheet, it doesn't list the the days from seed with geranium, but I would suggest going to a reputable seed company and just see if you can order them. Possibly Burpee seeds would be one to check out. Maybe Park Seed, and they will let you know the number of days it takes to grow from seed. But I'm thinking it's probably going to be very, very difficult. To me, for geraniums, it's probably best to go ahead and buy the plants, and then buy plants annually every year, for the simple reason is that geraniums harbor a lot of virus diseases. I know some people like to bring their geranium plants indoors and then keep them over the winter, dry them out, let them go dormant, and then rewater them. Yeah, cut them back and rewater them, and then start them again. But probably almost all the viruses in the universe a geranium gets. So it's very difficult to keep a clean geranium around. So you can try, see if you can get seed. They're very, very tiny. You don't have to cut. If you're starting them indoors, just keeping them on the soil media, not burying them, keeping an eye on the water, and see how you do. But I would say it's probably one of the more difficult flowers to start from seed.
Yeah. Well, now, Carl, as far as after she does get her seed planted, any idea when would be a good time to set them out?
That would be, I would probably wait until the first week of May when we have warm temperatures, definitely.
Okay,
Yeah.
first week of May.
Mm-hmm.
All righty, we appreciate the telephone call, and
Right.
we are live in the studio, 336-599-0266 for the Gardener's Corner program. Yes, and maybe, Carl, over the next few weeks or so, we can start talking about the fruit tree pruning demonstration.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people is really chomping at the bit to get the pruning shears out already on the days that, it's sunny and they can get out and do some things. But still a little bit earlier to even think about pruning, correct?
Yeah. A lot of people have pruned already, but you really set yourself up for plant injury, for winter injury, if the temperature stays cold and you can get drying out of the tissues of the twigs. So it's keep the pruning tools in the drawer until at least late February or early March, and then go ahead and prune. Remember that it depends as far as shrubs are concerned. Flowering shrubs produce their flower buds on. Some produce flower buds on 1-year-old wood. Others produce on the current season's wood. So if you go after azaleas, camellias, rhododendrons with a ravenous pruning appetite, you'll do very well in removing all your flowers for this year. So for those plants that bloom on last year's wood, azaleas, camellias, rhododendrons, forsythia, which many people call yellow bells, these are best pruned immediately after they finish flowering. Then the plant has enough time to set up flower buds for next year. Now, other plants like the butterfly bush or crepe myrtle, they produce flowers on the brand new growth. So that means you can really prune those back heavily in early March, and then you will still have those plants flower for you this year. So before you start to prune, first of all, identify the plant and then know when it blooms so that you don't, by mistake, remove all your flowers. This holds true as well for fruit plants, especially blueberries and peaches. They produce flowers only on last year's wood and no older. So if you go back and remove all of last year's growth, you've effectively eliminated your crop for the year.
Okay.
And we'll have an upcoming fruit tree pruning demonstration either on a on the last, possibly the last Saturday in February, or we might go into the first Saturday in March. We will see.
Okay. Well, now, Carl, is it any kind of publication offered
Yeah.
from the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service about pruning trees?
Yeah, we do have a pruning fruit tree publication that you can get just by giving us a call at 599-1195, and we'll be happy to mail you out. But to me, the best way to learn how to prune something is to have someone show you how to do it. Once you know how to do it and why you're pruning, that pretty much solves all your problems and questions, and then you can go ahead and do it yourself. But while we are talking a little bit on pruning fruit trees, I just happened to see a slide that I had in the group here. This is a slide that shows the brown rot fungus disease of peach or any other stone fruit, plum, cherry, nectarine, etc. And what this slide shows is a peach pit that's on the ground, and you have these overwintering structures that start to emerge from the peach pit. These are called ascus cups. And in these ascus cups contain the brown rot fungus spores. And then all it takes is for warmer temperatures to occur in the spring, warm and wet. Then these spores are forcibly ejected out of these ascus cups, and they land on the fruit of the peach tree. So the biggest thing for you to do right now, the best thing for you to do, is to remove all these overwintering peach pits from the ground. Rake them up, and if you have mummified fruits or pits hanging in the trees, remove those. So this removes a lot of the what we call inoculum from landing on the fruits.
Well, Carl, you was just talking about that, and it kind of made me think of the artillery fungus.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Same type of thing.
Okay.
Where the spores are ejected from the case, and then they land on different surfaces. But this is what happens in brown rot. You can see the fruit on the right is almost overtaken by the brown rot fungus, and it almost seems like this fungus works overnight. One day you can have a fruit that looks pretty good, and then the next day it's all shriveled up. And this is because that once the peach fruit matures, the amount of sugars increase, the pH increases to where the fungus can actually go in and attack the fruit. When the fruit is young, the fruit pH is low, it's acidic, so the fungus cannot survive at a low pH. So that's why the fungus just sits in wait. It sits and waits for its opportunity to attack the fruit once the sugars and the pHs are right. So in order to prevent brown rot from occurring, what you have to do is get on a spray schedule and spray at certain intervals once every 10 to 14 days or so as that fruit size is enlarging, so that you have a fungicide on that fruit, so that when the fungus spore germinates and tries to penetrate the fruit, it can't. It gets killed. These are called cover sprays, because as a fruit enlarges in size, it also increases in surface area. So you have to keep reapplying fungicides in order to cover the surface area of that fruit. So you don't expect to get good control just with one spray and that's it. So keep up your cover sprays. Then you stop spraying when it tells you to stop on the label so many days before harvest. So unfortunately, that's the only thing you can do in order to avoid brown rot, because once it hits, of course, it's too late to do anything.
Yeah, when you see it, it's, as you said, too late. And, Carl, as you had said within the last few weeks, if you are very serious about a fruit tree orchard, make sure that you got plenty of time, because it's more than just planting the trees and harvesting fruit, because you really have to stay on top of things.
Absolutely.
With fruit trees.
Absolutely.
Hey, we need to get a word on for Sandling Golf Cars, our other sponsor of the day for the Gardener's Corner program. We'll take a trip down to Oxford. Want to let you know they've got a huge selection of golf cars, utility trailers, dump trailers, and stock trailers. Here we go to Sandling Golf Cars in Oxford. Sandling Golf Cars, located 613 Lewis Street in Oxford, invites you to come on down and shop with them Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. until 5:30, Saturdays 9 until 1. Al, Hillary, and Will there to serve you at Sandling Golf Cars. Check them out on the World Wide Web at sandlinggolfcars.com. They're having a closeout sale on all 2014 E-Z-GO and Club Car golf cars with special financing available. Also, if you're in need of an enclosed trailer, a dump trailer, open body utility trailers, or tow dollies, get them at Sandling Golf Cars. They also have Wilmington grills and stock trailers. Payments on stock trailers start as low as $100 per month with approved credit. Head on down to Sandling Golf Cars, located 613 Lewis Street in Oxford. The telephone numbers are 1-800-221-9267 or 919-693-4626. Sandling Golf Cars is located 613 Lewis Street in Oxford. They're your local Club Car and E-Z-GO dealer. So for all of your parts, service, and Trojan batteries, head on down to Sandling Golf Cars. The telephone numbers again, 1-800-221-9267 or 919-693-4626. That's Sandling Golf Cars, 613 Lewis Street in Oxford. Here we are back on the Gardeners Corner program. Rob Hall here, along with Mr. Carl Cantalupi of the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service. Carl divides his time between Person and Granville counties, and you can catch up with Carl by calling the Person County Cooperative Extension Service office at 336-599-1195. If he's not there, you can leave a message. He's very good about returning phone calls. Carl, we've got maybe about 2 to 3 minutes
Okay.
before we have to wrap up and pack up and get on out of here. So
Yeah.
Anyway, you take off and I'll follow your lead.
Okay. We were talking a little bit today about lawn care and not to over-fertilize lawns with nitrogen in the spring. That is your cool season grasses like bluegrass and fescue. But one thing that people can be thinking of doing right now, if you have Bermuda grass, which is a warm season grass, you can take out the lawn mower on days where the soil has dried out, and you can effectively scalp the Bermuda grass back right to the soil line, and then just let the dead grass blades on the soil surface to decompose, and this will keep provide good organic matter and help the newly emerging Bermuda grass come up much easier later on in the season. Remember that Bermuda grass is a warm season grass. For people that want to try to grow it as a lawn grass, the best time to seed Bermuda is late May or early June. So that means if you want to establish a Bermuda grass lawn, that you have to get started in May and apply your non-selective herbicide such as Roundup. Let that work for 2 weeks, and then by the end of May or early June, you're able to till up the area, rake it smooth, and sow your Bermuda grass seed. So if you're looking for a lawn that'll give you years of wear, Bermuda grass wears like iron, and it will not wither up and die in drought like bluegrass or fescue will unless you water it. In very short time, it provides a very thick, dense turf, and about the only things against it is that the Bermuda grass will go dormant earlier in the fall, and then it takes a little while longer to green up in the spring. And for the majority of the winter, you have a straw-colored lawn. But if you're not bothered by that, I think Bermuda grass is the ticket.
Well, Carl, you are a fan of Bermuda
Yes,
grass,
yes,
correct?
that's what I have. Yeah.
Okay. All righty. Well, I think that's going to do it for this edition of the Gardeners Corner program. We appreciate every one of you all for tuning in. On behalf of Mr. Carl Cantalupi of the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service and myself, Rob Hall, want to wish you and yours a happy and safe weekend, and we appreciate you tuning in to the Garden Corner program. And a big old special thanks to Sandling Golf Cars and T.G. Brooks Company for sponsoring the show. And again, call your friend that was listening in Durham.
Yeah, Jesse, I hope you were able to hear us okay.
And hope that you enjoyed the show.
That's right.
So God bless, folks. Have a wonderful and safe weekend, and we'll see you next week for another edition of the Gardener's Corner program.